The reaction was predictable. The US Supreme Court ruled in a 6-3 decision that President Donald Trump had overstepped his authority when he imposed sweeping global tariffs last year. Well, that was the cue for the president to let rip with the usual vitriol we've become accustomed to. The judges who voted against him, two of whom, by the way, were his own appointees, were, in his words, a disgrace to the nation and fools and lapdogs to the rhinos and the radical left Democrats. Well, after cooling off, he reached for a different lever. That was Section 122 of the 1974 Trade Act. It allows him to impose a new temporary tariff of 10% on goods from all countries. In other words, the tariffs are back, but just via a different legal door. So where do we go from here? Well, economists warn that broad-based tariffs act like a tax on domestic manufacturers, raising input costs and squeezing margins. So if other countries retaliate, you then get the classic tit-for-tat spiral. In other words, higher prices, disrupted supply chains and slower growth. Well, the last round of tariffs hit the US farmers and small manufacturers particularly hard, prompting billions in federal support. There's also the little matter of repayment. If the court ultimately rules that the president acted illegally, could Washington be forced to return the estimated $300 billion collected from those tariffs, much of it paid by American companies? And if so, how quickly would that money flow back? Even Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who sided with the president, admitted that the process would, in his words, be messy. Well, for now, the markets are watching for signs of escalation. A full-blown trade war isn't inevitable, but the ingredients are almost certainly on the table.